Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the SkidMarks podcast, recorded live at the Three Laws Recon Studios in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. You're going to be hearing all sorts of crazy stories from the best in the business, Mr. Jeff McGrath and Mark Welch. But before that, I'd like to hand it over to the host of the show, Mr. Sean Hoy. Enjoy.
Ooh, what the heck? Hey, guys.
Hey, Sean.
Oh, wow. What an introduction.
I loved it.
Hey, wow. We are just flying along here. Last week we had a great show. A lot of good call-ins and people doing some good stuff. How was your week?
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't heard about us or from us or anything like this is our second episode in the studio here.
Correct.
At the Three Recons studio.
Three Laws Recon
Is
Studio.
it Three Laws or do we
No.
say Three Recon?
People do that a lot.
Is there a movie, Three Recon?
There might be.
Recon 3?
No.
No? With Charles Bronson?
You're making stuff
Charles,
up.
that one.
Death Wish. Which again, that's the whole beauty about, and I don't want to say beauty because some of it's beautiful and some of it's not, what you guys actually go through.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
So, wow, some people are on a death wish, some people aren't,
Yes.
and things evolve. So tell us a little bit about what you do per Three Laws Recon. Jeff, you start with what you do, a little bit of background, and then we'll hit Mark up a little bit.
Well, I'm a retired cop. I was a vehicular crimes detective and accident reconstructionist in law enforcement. And I retired. Now I have my own company, a private company, Three Laws Recon, where we investigate crashes and serious and fatal crashes, usually where somebody's looking to go into prison, that type of crash.
Right.
And other stuff.
We do other
Yeah.
stuff too, but...
So it's a bunch of different things.
Yes.
And today, that's the neat thing about it. So every episode, what we do is we talk about a case in which you guys have had previously. There's always, bing, 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 and a little something, something, something.
Yes.
That's
yes,
how we're doing it.
Exactly.
That's technical terms, ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Yeah, if we wrote a book on the stuff we've seen, you'd be
Oh,
amazed.
it wouldn't be. It was a kid's book? No?
No,
Dr.
I don't
Seuss?
think so.
I think all those are
You
banned.
give 'em nightmares.
Tell us a little about yourself there, Mark. You do a lot of different things as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a former state trooper from Washington State and been to a couple of thousand wrecks, handled a lot of them, a lot of really gruesome stuff, a lot of great things too. People learning lessons the hard way. But yeah, it's been quite a crazy ride. And when me and Jeff met up to start this company, we're not just investigating crashes. We're talking about those here today, but we do all sorts of different investigations, missing persons, and we were tailing people in California one time, and just all kinds of different stuff.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
The stories you could tell, there's probably stories you cannot
There
tell.
definitely are.
Oh,
I can't
absolutely. Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little commercial break here, and then we are going to come right on back and chat with these guys about a case that they had gone through. We're going to take you on what we call a journey.
Yes.
Three Laws Recon, the very best accident investigation, reconstruction, and DUI investigation. Three Laws Recon works for you with over 50 years of combined accident investigation reconstruction experience.
Hi, I'm Jeff McGrath, the owner of Three Laws Recon. We are a full-service private investigation, DUI consultation, accident reconstruction company. We are the experts you need in the field to defend your client.
The truth is important to Three Laws Recon because the truth is important to you. What truly happened? What was the cause of this accident? Three Laws Recon provides a wide range of specialties in accident reconstruction. Experts analyze your discovery, the roadway where the collision occurred, and the vehicles involved. We interview witnesses, police officers, case agents, and anyone else who may have touched the case. Three Laws Recon can interpret the evidence from the roadway and vehicles and use this information to help reconstruct the accident. The damage to the vehicles, along with the evidence left on the roadway, tells the story of the accident.
All right, guys. The guys are still here. They haven't run off. They're in a commercial break. But Three Cons, as you can see, they've got official commercials and whatnot. What we're going to talk about today, and I went over the case, and thank you for sending it to me. a lot of different things have happened. I don't know if you title these incidences that happen, but I was thinking
Come up
something
with
a
it.
Jeep.
We could call it the crazy girl.
Jeeper
crazy
girl
South
or something.
American-
Yeah,
South
South, would be a South African
Yeah.
American
Crazy
or crazy girl. I don't want to call all women crazy
No.
because I'll get sued again.
Right, yeah,
You know,
not doing that.
really. I got some litigation going. Anyway, tell me what happened with this particular case. Let's start it off. Give us a little intro and just build up what's going down.
Well, this case, what happened was there was a party that was going on in the North Valley, and a young girl, I think she was 18, 19 at the time. She was driving her Jeep Grand Cherokee, was lifted. She did it all herself for her boyfriend. Big giant 35-inch plus tires on it. And she's coming down a mountain pass road. It was a north-south road. And as she's traversing around the mountain in a curve, she suddenly veers to the left, which causes her Jeep to rotate, and it rotates all the way across all the opposing lanes.
Wow.
All the way up the other curb, where it hits a woman in a minivan, and on impact severs her left leg at the thigh right there.
The woman that was in the minivan
Yes.
severed her leg.
Yeah,
Okay.
cut her leg off, and then so when police get there, they investigate it, and they say she just was going too fast for the corner and lost control, and therefore she's going to prison on this one. It's an aggravated assault charge, because if you injure somebody seriously in a car crash and you're impaired, they determined she was impaired, she was drunk.
Wow. Okay.
Then you're looking at prison time. Because
You glazed right over that part.
I did. She was drunk. She was
So
left
that's
apart.
another detail. Okay,
Yeah.
so they found out she was drunk.
Yes, they found out she was drunk. She had her boyfriend in the car, who was she was also pregnant.
From him or
From him.
So
Do they know that for sure?
They do know that for
That
sure.
was his baby.
They have since had the baby.
Oh, they had the
Yes.
DNA.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
double check.
Yep. It is his baby.
Okay.
She's drunk,
She's drunk.
driving.
Wow.
He's in the
He's
back.
sober.
He's in the back,
And he's sober.
and she's drunk,
What
and
the
she's pregnant.
heck?
Drunk.
Yeah.
Pregnant.
They're leaving the same party.
Okay.
Wow.
And so, yeah, then just chaos ensues. And so when the police get there, of course, they arrest her for aggravated assault, which is felony, and then she's looking at prison time. Well, I get called in to come look at it, and I find some other issues that the police didn't document in their investigation.
Clearly, she needed a lawyer.
She needed a lawyer, clearly. Because,
Do people normally lawyer up? Is that the term?
well,
When something like this happens, or
no,
do they?
no, they don't normally. People usually start spilling everything right there. If I were to advise anybody, is that don't talk until a lawyer's been advised.
Right.
There's a lot of pressure to say stuff to like it wasn't me, it wasn't my fault, or what did happen. There is something mitigate it down, but the big thing is stop talking.
It says it in your rights. Anything you say can and will be used against
Yeah.
you.
You hear that term all the time, but you don't really think, like, people don't think about it.
Yeah.
Because you get so scared when there's like police on you,
Yeah.
and they've got you handcuffed.
Yeah, it's
and you're
intimidating.
drooling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they say, "I want to tell me what happened." You're like,
Yeah.
So people start talking.
Oh no, it's yeah.
Yeah. It's better if they don't. Make the police do their job. Make them investigate it properly. Because if
Right.
you start talking, you're doing their investigation for them.
Okay. So this happens, and to reiterate, the lady's driving. She's in a Jeep. She loses control
And spins. She doesn't roll. She
She
spins.
spins, and then
Yeah.
Jeeps can spin, and
Yeah.
spin. She didn't,
So she does a spin, and now this
Yes,
road is
yeah.
banked. So she spins down the hill.
and we have an injury with they didn't get injured. The people.
No,
the people
they
in the
were
car.
fine.
Wow, they were lucky.
Yeah, they were fine.
But however, the lady
In the
was
minivan,
innocently
of course.
driving her
Just-
van.
She saw it coming, and she was slowing down to
Oh.
avoid it, and it got her right in the door.
Wow.
Cut her leg off,
It's
just
really
at the
bad.
thigh.
Hey,
It was blood everywhere. It was amazing.
darn. Well, let's we're gonna talk more about it, but we're gonna take a little commercial break.
And we got a crazy twist on this
A
one.
crazy twist. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
Three Laws Recon will become an extension of your office and conduct an assessment of your case while working under your direction. Three Laws Recon will first and immediately dissect your case and advise on any discovery or case evidence you should have but is missing. We will verbally give you a list of issues we see with the case, positive and negative. If at that point you want to continue forward with Three Laws Recon, we will start our process of continuous consulting and reconstruction. We will always be transparent and explain or educate as to the methods we're using. We will hold case strategy meetings on a weekly basis or as often as you direct us. This method has been extremely successful with attorneys, as cases further closer to trial or deviation. At any time during our relationship, we can provide a detailed report outlining case issues. These have been utilized to scientifically educate defendants that may have a skewed version of the events or believe they were not the driver, either by impairment or memory recall, or support deviation requests.
So again, let's go back to this case that we're discussing.
Yeah.
You got a lady and that's coming down.
She's driving down the road, and you know it's important to say that she's not a U.S. citizen. She is.
Oh, okay. So that makes a difference?
It does make a difference because now she was born in South Africa. She didn't have her citizenship yet. She was trying to get that, I think.
For it, yeah.
But her parents moved her here when she was around 2.
Okay.
And her whole family came over here. She has no family in South Africa. So now if she gets convicted of this crime,
You can tell the twist.
if she gets convicted of this crime, she gets deported.
Oh, okay. So that's big.
So
It's going to be big for her because, I mean, if her family's here, she gets deported to
nowhere.
after jail time, of
yeah,
course.
after she serves her time, she would go back to South Africa where she has no family, nothing.
Right. Because she's been here.
Yeah.
Right? She's been here for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us. So you got me on crutches? What was it?
Yeah,
Like that on my hinges?
The edge of your seat.
On the edge of my
Story
seat?
about that.
I was going to say you have me on crutches, but that would be weird.
We got stories about
Speaking
that.
of crutches, though, and I don't want to make jokes
Yeah,
of it, but
no.
the lady did get her leg. Which
She-
leg did
she
she
lost
get?
her left
Separate.
leg.
Left leg.
Left leg,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
left
Just a
leg.
real
Just below the
tragedy.
hip.
She's right.
Just the real tragedy of the story.
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Wow.
I mean,
okay.
unfortunately, she just was minding her own business.
Yeah, like many accidents do.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, and please progress, my friend.
So I get called in. 3 Laws Recon gets called in, and we go and we start investigating this, and we start looking at the photos the police took. And the first thing we see is there's a giant rock in the road that looks like it rolled off the mountain. And I want to say this rock is probably 8-10 inches in diameter, pretty good size.
Right.
And there's a tire mark that goes right up to this rock, over the rock, and beyond it. So that would have caused some instability of the vehicle. Then she reports to the police, but they say there's nothing to do with this. She reports to the police that as she was coming down the road at 52 miles an hour, is I think what we had her at, that the car pulled out from a private drive that was on her right into her lane in front of her. So she swerved to avoid hitting that car. So now we call that vehicle X because they're not around anymore. But the officer said, no, that's not possible because there's the entranceway there's a gate with a lock on it. They said no traffic would come out of there. Well, as Mark and I were standing there, we saw cars pull into that and turn around and come out because it was a good place to turn out, good size. So we were able to basically show that she was avoiding a collision of somebody who pulled out in front of her. That vehicle X is the one that actually caused this.
Oh.
So we got
That makes a big difference.
yeah,
Huge difference.
so we get everything basically wrapped up, and we provide our report that says the police investigation was good and it was proper, but they left out some things that were critical to this case. Not to say that she's okay because she's drunk and she's driving. There needs to be some punishment for
Right.
that. But the total outcome and the years of prison time she's looking at, I think, is excessive in this case when she's trying to avoid somebody who pulled out in front of her. And they said, well, she was just going too fast for that. I tested that roadway, and I did it
I did it in my truck.
You did it in your truck. I did it in my minivan. Not minivan. I'm sorry, my SUV. I did it in the Porsche Carrera. I did it in all kinds of vehicles.
Right,
And I
right.
got up to 80, 90, 100 miles an hour on that curve with no issues.
And you guys do normally do that? Do you test that? And that's something
yeah,
that
because
happens?
they talk about how fast they were going, and I think people tend to minimize it. Like I was going 50, so we'll go 60, 70,
Right.
because there's a chance they were going at a higher rate. Of course, we usually figure that out from SkidMarks, but if we can do it at 70 or 80, where in his car even faster, then it makes sense that a normal person can do it at 45, 50, 60
Yeah.
without a problem.
Right, right.
And she was, I think it was 12 miles over the posted speed limit. So that's not, here in the valley, everybody drives anywhere from 12 to 15 over the posted speed limit.
Right.
Every
I
day.
noticed that.
It wasn't
Yeah, yeah.
totally out of control.
It was not reckless by any means.
So that rock
Yes.
is big.
That rock is huge because if you swerve and you hit that rock, now you've got this big giant lifted vehicle that's bouncing.
Yeah.
And once it's doing that, it's not contacting the roadway surface. So now it's going to start to rotate because of the way the road is banked. So there's some dynamics and physics going on here that was overlooked. And that was critical to this case.
So that was critical. Now, then there's a twist now, or do you want to add any more information? Because this is a segment that
we actually,
We won't do the twist until we come back from this.
It's
next
getting
commercial,
kind of
but-
crazy.
Yeah.
It's getting nutty.
We got some good information on this
Yeah,
one.
no, I want to talk more about it.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's just take a commercial break because, we aren't, matter of fact, let's just say it, Three Laws Recon is sponsoring this whole thing.
Yes.
This
yes,
is
we
your
are.
show.
This is my show. Yes.
So why don't we play a commercial from you guys?
All right, let's do it.
Three Laws Recon applies physics with old and new school investigative techniques to find the truth. Three Laws Recon provides highly trained and specialized custom teams for each individual case. Every single case investigation is specialized and peer-reviewed for accuracy and effectiveness. From his time as the only accident reconstructionist for the Maricopa County Public Defender's Office to the success of Three Laws Recon, Jeff McGrath is most proud of his family. Three Laws Recon, the very best accident investigation, reconstruction, and DUI investigation. Three Laws Recon.
Ooh, I like that music. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
it's almost like voodoo.
I didn't realize how long that commercial was.
I told you.
You guys fans of dogs?
Love
I
it.
love dogs, man. I like to add that. I added that little sound effect.
James
It's like,
Dixon,
"Rawr,
too."
rawr, rawr, rawr." You guys ever have dogs, like a dog driving a car that got in trouble?
No, we've
Would
had,
that be something?
we've had issues where people have a dog on their lap and they're driving and it gets in the way of them and they have an accident.
That could be the
Especially when
next
the airbag
story.
comes out.
Yeah, well, and
Whoa.
when the airbag comes out, it usually punts the dog through the back window.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
It's not pretty.
That is a
On to better news.
happy ending. I was gonna say that's a little bit. Ooh, that's
It's
good.
eerie.
Yeah,
It's
I've got
perfect.
eerie stuff. All right, speaking of eerie, so we're coming down to the line here.
Yeah.
I want to say, as I always say, the denouement, the kind of the conclusion.
Yes.
We call it the twist here on
Yeah.
this show at SkidMarks. Tell us what happened now.
Well, okay, so let's fast forward. So we've wrapped up our end of the case, and our attorney, the client herself, and the prosecutor all agreed to go sit in the judge's chambers and discuss this with the judge because they're kind of feeling for her a little bit, and they do realize there is a vehicle X involved here, that maybe she's not totally at fault because she deserved deportation, all that stuff. So they're concerned, as we were. So we're sitting in the judge's chambers, and the judge, after hearing everything, is going to make a decision saying, you know what, instead of going to trial, I think we'll be lenient on you. And they're going to offer a decent plea that could keep her here in the United States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they make deals all the time.
They all
That is
that's
something you
common.
go into the chambers and.
Yeah, I mean, we don't often go in the chambers, but there are times that we do. Usually
Yeah.
those deals are made just prior to court in meetings.
Right.
So
So in this case, they felt for the lady.
They did.
There's a lot that happened. I mean, bless her heart, the rock and this
Yeah,
and that, and
she's
things
pregnant.
happened. Pregnant.
Yeah, she's out on bond. She's not in jail through this process.
Okay, good.
So she's out on bond, but there's restrictions with bond. You can't drink, you can't do all these things. Well, as we're sitting in there, the judge has just decided they're going to be lenient on her. The city prosecutor walks into the judge's chambers with a letter, hands it to the judge, and the judge says, well, it was going to be lenient, but apparently you got yourself into a tussle while you were out on bond. She was DUI. She was impaired again.
Out on bond.
Out on
So
bond.
This is the second.
Yeah.
This will be
Now the baby daddy that was in the car with her.
Yeah.
Something happened between that relationship. So she goes and slashes his tires when she's drunk.
Wow.
And she drives off really fast and rolls her vehicle, single vehicle collision. So the police show up. She's DUI and she gets charged with the criminal damage. So the judge gets this and looks at it and says, I think we got a problem here. So ultimately, she's convicted. She's deported.
What,
And-
deported?
Yeah, she's absolutely deported.
Now that's normal. I mean, you had said that she had lived in South Africa
She
forever, right?
No,
Or was
she's
it just her
because she's a
parents were-
citizen of South Africa.
Wow.
She's not an American citizen. So now because it's called a crime of moral turpitude. So there's certain crimes that if you commit them and you're not a U.S. citizen, you lose the right to become a citizen. You can get deported once you're
Especially
convicted.
felonies.
Wow.
Yeah, DUI is one of those, or aggravated DUI is one of those. That's felony DUI, but aggravated assaults, those types of things are.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so she's now currently in South Africa, had the baby, and currently in South Africa.
So these cases as well, do you get personally, I don't want to say you get personally involved, but do you follow of what, if she's going to come back or anything like that? You probably can't. You do so many cases.
Yeah, I do. I would like to. I have a couple clients that have stayed in touch, let me know how they're doing. But for the most part, no, I don't. Unless they reach out to me, sometimes I don't even know where they go.
Wow, it's a variety.
So, yeah.
And I notice we have a little bit of time, so that wraps up this case.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So tell us a little bit about it. Like I said, since we have a little bit of time, you guys got involved. You guys have been in law enforcement together, I mean,
Yes.
for years,
Yes,
right? Like 30, 40 years together, like
Combined,
combined
yeah.
effort and things like that. So at this point of what you're doing with 3 Laws Recon, I mean, how does that feel? Like, is it more exciting than it was before with all the knowledge you guys have? It's, you can see these things like that the layman like me couldn't see.
Well, that's the interesting part is as a cop when I did this and as a detective when I did this, I was on the prosecution side. So I was trying to send people to prison for their actions.
Right.
That's what you do.
And that's what we do on that side. Now I'm on the side, primarily on the defense side. So I get more emotionally involved in this because I do see those things. And I'll admit, when I was a cop, I didn't dig this hard. And I see that now with the cases I get from the police. And what we do actually does benefit the police because there's several detectives that I've come across that have now opened the depth of their work because they know, hey, 3 Laws Recon is going to look at this. So let's try to get every avenue taken care of. Which is good. That's what we want to do.
So they're dotting their I's and
Yes,
crossing their T's even more so, which is, wow.
When you have some tragedy though, like somebody losing their leg, the police have to do their full amount of their investigation. They just can't blow off the rock in the road and say, well, it probably didn't happen.
Yeah,
They have to
or
do it
disregard the car that pulled out.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
you
There's
can't.
all these factors.
Yeah.
Right. And here's someone who's now going to be deported because you didn't do your, or could have been deported because you didn't do your job. Now she had a weird twist.
Yeah.
Which got her
Yeah,
anyway.
she created her own demise in this one.
So next week we're going to do another show and you're going to let us know exactly the subject matter. I don't know if you know these cases all come up, but I had a great time. I hope you two did.
We did.
Let's take it away. Sheila, what are we going to do now?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to SkidMarks, recorded live at 3 Laws Recon Studios in Phoenix.